What sort of makeup do you put on? I mean, you appear very white.
Well, it's all natural actually. It's Max Factor is a pan stick, and it's 28, which is just natural. It's not a white makeup. It's normal. And then I just powder that with skin tone powder, and then just eyeliner.
On the 24th of May 1979, the future finally arrived. He was a punk, he loved sci-fi, he even read J.G. Ballard, but most impressively, Gary Newman was on top of the pops.
I wish magic was real, yeah. I wish fairies were real and all that kind of stuff. I love all that sort of thing. Probably never grew up, I suppose, from that point of view.
The first time he was on Top of the Pops, I think either she phoned me or I phoned her. Are you watching this? Have you seen this man? He's fantastic, you know. The look and the sound was so different. Sort of alien, wasn't it?
I was in a lot of trouble at school. I was sent to child psychiatrists and things like that, which turned out to be apparently Asperger's. Felt more comfortable on my own. The classic loner, I suppose. You know, didn't go out drinking, didn't go out clubbing too much.
So now I'm alone. Now I can think for myself.
I went to a studio to make a punk album, which would have been my first album. And when I got there, in the corner of the studio there was a mini Moog. Luckily, it had been left on this sound, which was a huge, big, bassy thing, and the room shook. You know. I just realised you can just press one key and all this other stuff happens. You know, there was a massive amount of power in them and depth that I just never heard anything like it before. One note.
People like ourselves and Cabaret Voltaire and the Human League had all just got used to the fact that we existed and there was somebody else sharing our space. And then along comes, you know, who I guess at the time we thought was Johnny Come Lately. Who the hell is this guy from London who's on telly and having a massive hit record? Never heard of him.
Newman was Britain's first synth pin-up.
Hello, Sarah.
Hello, Gary.
Hello, Sarah.
My friend Cheryl read in the newspaper that your mum does your hair. Is this true?
Yeah, that's right. She's been doing it since I was about 4.
All right, thank you.
Did she put the streak in the side as well?
Yeah.
I really like Gary's music. I think he made the best records at that time. I think he, if anyone, really condensed it into a form that was perfect at that point.
Newman would immediately show that his number one success was no fluke. Cars was part eulogy to J.G. Ballard and part testimony to living in 70s London.
I was in my car and a couple of men in a van swerved around me and pulled up in front, got out and were clearly going to give me a bit of a hammering, you know, trying to get me out and kick in the car and screaming and shouting. I was pretty scared, you know, so I locked all my doors and I ended up driving up onto the pavement and shot along the pavement because I couldn't go anywhere. You know, people obviously leaping out of the way because I was in a bit of a panic. Cars is just about feeling safe in amongst people in a car because no one can get to you in your own little bubble. I was gutted when Cars came out. I thought it was really good. All this time we were convinced just a matter of time before we have a number one record because, you know, part arrogance and part stupidity. And then somebody comes out of the blue and does it.
With sales totalling in excess of 10 million, Gary Newman was a new kind of pop star, but being at the front of the synth wave had inevitable drawbacks.
The Musicians Union tried to ban me for, I think, the first year I was around because they said I was putting proper musicians out of work. Although I had to be a member to get on top of the pops, so it caused me loads of grief actually. The music press were pretty harsh.
It wasn't rock and roll. It wasn't honest, it wasn't working class, it wasn't worthy, it wasn't earthy, it wasn't real, it wasn't sweaty, it wasn't manly, it was pretentious and pseudo-intellectual. And I am absolutely convinced that Newman's career was shortened by nasty vitriolic journalism.
But again, if what they've been before me, they've been punk, the whole anti-hero thing. So not only was I doing electronic music, which he wasn't particularly pleased with anyway, but I'm standing up saying I want to be a pop star, love it. All this anti-hero stuff before that, I want nothing to do with that. I want to be famous, and I want to be standing on stages, and I don't speak for the people because I don't even know them.
The decade would end with Newman as the unlikely synth-pop hero come good. What lay around the corner would see the synth transformed from post-punk experimental tool into the pop instrument of choice. As the 80s dawned, the future finally arrived, and it wasn't going to be alienated. A shift to the right heralded a new era in Britain, an era in which prosperity and material wealth would be vaunted above all else. There would be no room for experimental dreamers in the me decade. You were a success, or you didn't exist. The big hit of 1980 was Visage, whose Fade to Grey followed fast on the heels of Newman's success. It seemed the future had passed the Human League by.
I think there were 3 number 1 hits. Certainly Dave Stewart and Barbara Gaskin, Gary Newman, and I think the Flying Lizards might have been number 1 with Money. And I actually stood there after I think we'd done a couple of LPs, and I thought, we've blown it. We now look like the also-rans, and everyone's taken the idea and done a lot better than us.
The best things in life are free, but you can give them to the birds and bees. I want money.